campaign. It is the defending champions New Zealand taking on England. Sam Dixon and Alex Davies, the two respective captains for each side. And Aquila Rokolisoi getting a start for New Zealand in the playmaking role. Alex Davies as well led and battled through injury to get here for Homer Ravatra. Sam Dixon leading this team well, taking over this season. So a win for New Zealand, taking them through to the top of the group. England have had a tough go. Perform strongly here, give themselves a chance.
Well, it's a fixture that really does resonate with the wider rugby world, doesn't it? The all-white of England, the all-black of New Zealand. However, there's only really one team here who set standards in sevens, and they're wearing black.
Back off black.
Early ball is knocked back by New Zealand. Scott Curry, back in the side for the first time since the Tokyo Olympics, has been playing 15s. Molia and Weber, a lot of experience, mixed in with some exciting youth as Aquila Rokolisoi gets his feet in a tangle. Curry. New Zealand, speaking of footwork, Joe Weber driven back in a great tackle though is Curry. Good physical stuff. Adamson it may have been for England. And now here's Tangitau. Tangitau is an impressive player, but losing control, and this is a good start from England.
Oh, until the knock-on from Roddick. You're exactly right. What a start. Adamson putting down a marker. This New Zealand team are going to challenge you every time they carry the ball, and you've got to meet that with collision. Composure from New Zealand to attack from deep, but this is what you've got to do, is one-on-one. Curry, the veteran, Adamson, the rookie, and then Roddick just trying to play quick, can't quite keep the ball in the hand. Given away, first chance you get against New Zealand, and you don't get many. England give the ball away.
New Zealand set the scrum on the 22, and Rokolisoi scoots away down the blind side. He's going to take them on himself here. Aquila Rokolisoi flirts with the sideline, just stays in. Shepherded that way, and then England give away a penalty. Dixon taps from the wrong spot and rewind.
That's to be from the 5 anyway, to be fair. Just get the game going. Want to see New Zealand flying. They've got big strike runners down the middle. They've got hot steppers that can pull the strings as well. It really is a brilliantly balanced New Zealand team.
Weber working through the middle, and then the switch back for Nashu. Tawny Nashu. Dixon ranging wide on the right, and that's a collision of big bodies with Dixon and Adamson. Another penalty goes against England though. And Nashu gets on with it for New Zealand. Weber for Molia, through the hands though. Sione Molia just haven't been precise in this opening few minutes, New Zealand.
Yeah, that's exactly what you could say, described from his face there. Molia, disappointed with that. Actually looked like he went a bit backwards, but he's still frustrated at not holding it. Weber is one of the guys that can step through the middle. Molia is one of the guys that can run straight through you. And when you put them together, it's a great combination usually. But now England go from deep. Bowen right behind the scrum. Going to try and sweep him into play to create chance on this near side.
England, chance to build from their own half and get a good ball wide early for Alex Davis. The skipper cuts back in field. Now a bit of space for England up the middle. Towards halfway is Will Homer. Good work for Roddick. And a penalty now New Zealand's way once more.
New Zealand really targeting that breakdown. As soon as that ball is on the floor, they're going to try and win the contest. You can see visibly just how much bigger this New Zealand team are than England. But they're bullying them in a friendly way, in a rugby way, and it's working.
The only kind of bullying allowed. New Zealand, Rokolisoi hard into the ground by Bavadra, and then physical work knocked Nashu off the ball just as he picked it up, and giving him the taste of their own medicine.
Yes, and that's how you get this crowd going. Exactly that. Happy Bavadra is stepping up to this New Zealand team, clearly coming out here saying, if we get a chance to compete against England, let's really go through them. Bavadra, one of the bigger players for this England team.
Stability from you two, please. Quick stability.
And he was pumped after that.
Crouch. England. Clear strike. Yep. Bind. Set.
Quickly flicked away by England. Done the hard work on defence, now trying to do some on attack. Davis got a little bit isolated and had to lay it back as New Zealand swarmed in, and that's going to be Webber's ball. Curry for the Kiwis. Roko Lesoa has Curry with them on the wraparound. Using that power, Scott Curry, New Zealand's 7th player of the year. Dixon, Molia, and Webber now. Looking to bring the flyer and the power and the pace, but that is a great tackle from Bowen coming across for England. Pangitau trying to rip back in there, but England have protected that ball nicely. Try saver, you'd think, from Tom Bowen. And now Homer up through the middle. Oh, it's tough stuff, and another penalty against England.
And they're the frustrating ones, because when no one is stood opposite waiting to compete, the players are going to come in with inertia, and unless they maintain their balance, they're going to fall down, and that's what got penalised there. It's so astute from New Zealand. They are competing at the right times. They're relieving it at the right times. England's defence keeping them in this game, but it's relentless from New Zealand. This is it. We'll see it again. As soon as the ball's on the floor, that's what the contest needs to be, because Adamson puts his hands down. He's not seemed to be in control, but there's no one to compete against, so it's difficult for him in that position, but it's the law.
Roko Lesoa has got options away to the left, and Pangitau, big wide ball for Webber. Webber trying to get around the outside again. The defence is strong as he stretched out, hit the line. We're going to have a look here if Joe Webber's got the first score of the match.
Craig, come to you. Try please.
Yeah, stand by more now, we'll come back to you.
Body language, but Joe Webber's normally quite unassuming at most times. They're saying if he hits the line, to try. The questions from England were about double movement. I think that should be given.
Joe Webber's not one of the tallest guys in the New Zealand team, but he's used his full stretch there to try and find that line.
Just looking for that reach. Just needs one white piece of grass when it rock and rolls.
Whatever, have a decision for you.
Yep.
That's the one there, doesn't it, where it makes it look on the line?
You may award the try. It's on the line.
Try given. Joe Webber scores for New Zealand.
A few more experienced referees to help him out. And Craig Schubert in the box. Webber, I told you he's unassuming. There's his celebration. Not much I want.
Points to nil. Michaela Blyde in the stand. Tyler Nathan Wong's partner Toots on her left, and Michael Brake, New Zealand gold medal, Olympic gold medal winning rower. Oh, the PDAs and the Kiwi girls.
Definite fine in line there.
Tell you what, there was 3 Olympic gold medalists in that line there.
Okay, time on.
What an angle and a perspective on the power of Scott Curry charging forward to chase this restart and take Jamie Adamson, who's done really well to spin out of this tackle, got rid of Curry. Tangitau clings on to him, and England pour forward up over halfway. Bavadra, it's loose, but okay. And now Tangitau trying to rip in on defence, has to release as those knees hit the ground from England. Good footwork, great footwork from England. Homer putting pressure on the New Zealand line. Bavadra wants to go straight through the middle. Great support from Barden. Now Adamson, who started it all. Here's the skipper, Davis. Alex Davis taken to ground over the 22, 20 metres out from the New Zealand line. A little dart down the blind side from Barden is just stopped by the New Zealand defence, and it's their turn to give away penalties under pressure. Davis gets on with it, can't quite reach out. So close for the England skipper, and then stopped again as Adamson tried to burrow towards the line. Davis again has left the ball behind. The rush of blood as New Zealand's defence hustled its way back, and they hold off England's charge. And we go to half-time with New Zealand leading 5-0. No support for the New Zealanders and supporting their men's team. We'll see the New Zealand women in a semi-final later today. (5-0) New Zealand lead as Aquila Rokolesoa gets the second half underway. It's knocked back by Weber for New Zealand, but lands for Roddick. New Zealand get the penalty though.
First half game plan working well for them in the second already. Anytime that ball's down, his black jerseys are all over it. England not able to move them. Just too big, too strong, New Zealand. And now I get to see it. Hopefully this guy pull out some magic. He has got magic feet. Rokolesoa, almost default goose step every time he catches the ball. But he's the loop player. He'll feed this in and try and set the backs flying in the middle.
Goes quickly to the front, chest pass back from Nashu, and away goes Rokolesoa. Formerly, there he is again, trying to scoot around the outside of Davis and bring his space to Tangitau into it. Davis takes him on, Tangitau bumps him off, bangs down the ball for New Zealand's second try, Caleb Tangitau.
Well, Rokolesoa, it's like he was doing the top bend of the 400 there, off he went. Through the ball, he tracked it all the way. That's the loop player mentioned, it straightens people up. Davis is there, you can see waiting to make that contact. It ends up trying to stop Tangitau, and that is not an easy thing to do. Bowen had stepped in, left a lot for the number 3 to do. Davis, young, powerful, the world at his feet.
Well, Aquila Rokolesoa set up the try. He missed out on the Tokyo Olympics. He was the travelling reserve, basically spent 2 weeks sitting in a hotel room waiting for a call. And that's the sort of service, I guess, so many other athletes that we don't necessarily get to see all the time, they do for their teams across all of these squads as well. It's not just the 13 here on game day, tournament time. Rokolesoa sends it away for another of the New Zealand youngsters. Shay Clark onto the field there in jersey 2, the debutant in the New Zealand side. But here's England. Got to get something just to really put some scoreboard pressure on too. Roddick. Roddick tries to squeeze through a small gap. Bowen's there, had a couple of wonderful covering tackles, Tom Bowen in the first half. Bavadra, the power man, runs in to Curry and Moses Leo. Penalty again, kept losing their feet.
Yeah, exactly the same picture again. It's just all too easy for the referee to see it. Have to go in, almost getting ready to grapple, looking for that wrestle over the ball. If you go in and just head first,
11.
Straight arm in the air.
11.
You see exactly that. Hands down again.
Makes it easy for the referee, doesn't it, to get a call like that right.
It's clever from Curry because he knows he's there. The white shirts fighting for England are ready to try and engage him, but because he steps back, it's like a matador.
2x2, yeah.
The last minute he moves, you're off balance.
Rokolesoa, Curry will be the target for him in the middle. That's exactly where they go. It's back there for Nyashu. Leroy Carter into the play for New Zealand and knocking the ball on. It's a miscommunication.
Cat at the back, keep an eye on him. Carter, he's a real personality. Love to see players like that. I'd say he's on the edge at times, but it's always good to see players show personality on the pitch. And the crowd trying to get a little bit of support for England. Two players behind the scrum looking again to sweep round. Bowen's there, wheels out wide, trying to get him in the game would be a good tactic for England and get this crowd supporting with a bit of noise.
Set.
Feed goes in and away goes Boyland on to the field. There's the man they were looking for. Will Homer up towards halfway. Now, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result.
And each time they're seeing these pictures, they're making snapshot decisions. Let's not forget this. This is a game played at 95% heart rate. It's instinct more than action. And when you are adjusting yourself at that pace, it can be hard. I do think it's more so the skill from New Zealand showing different pitches, which England are not reacting well to at all.
Tom Bowen works his socks off as per usual. Gee, looking at this New Zealand lineup out on the field now. Rokoli saw Carter. McGarvey Black bangs that ball into it, gets a kind bounce, and it's back there for Carter again. And now Clark, Shay Clark trying to get around the outside, still going, stretching Clark. He is a relentless young player with a huge future, the 19-year-old on debut, and gets a try, his first for New Zealand.
Very special moment. To wear that black shirt means one thing, to do so Commonwealth Games, and to get a try in doing so, very impressive. Big frame, big potential, that's a good finish. Meters past the contact, that's what you like to see. Players really driving hard, showing what it means to them to try and get an impact for their team.
$15-0 now, New Zealand in control, not quite going the 10 metres. Right, England from here.
And Emery now pulling the strings. He's got Clemenson on as well. He's going to go hard. I feel like England need to try and get some inertia.
Boyland spreads again for Kerr. Up over halfway, a rare foray into New Zealand territory. Leo's out there sliding across for New Zealand. Hayden Hyde goes into a big collision.
Extra roll.
And then does it, the extra roll. That penalty count has been crippling for England, as New Zealand's young guns and now the veteran man Dylan Collier look to close this out in the final minute. Here's Nyashu. England piling in, good physical pressure, but they give away a penalty in doing so. All off their feet. Tony Nyashu, Carter. McGarvey Black, Nardalhi McGarvey Black to guide things in the middle. Big wide ball for Clark. Look at the footwork, and then a little bit of power as well. Shay Clark announces himself on the world stage with a second try.
Well, whilst you're checking out his feet, what about his fend? Double threat. Gets rid of Bowen. Sit down. 19 years old. The procession of New Zealand talent is the envy of the world of rugby. And that is some scene.
First year out of high school, contracted with the New Zealand Sevens. His brother is here at the Commonwealth Games competing for Niue in boxing.
Well, I can see that happening, because that's a hell of a hook.
$20-0. 4 tries for New Zealand. Here's a family there. What a proud moment.
I guess as the brother, you learn the hard way.
Rokoli Soa smashes this restart down for the sideline, but it'll be there for... Oh, England have got in trouble here. Just going to get out of it, are they? Oh, my goodness, it's hairy stuff, but why not throw it around? Give this crowd something to entertain in the final moments. Boyland is scragged, and New Zealand, I was going to say,
yeah, and about time, you know, when the referees go down the avenues that they have been about so meticulous about hands down, it goes for every single scenario. And I think that was one well picked up by the referee.
Big contact. Collier on Kerr. Kerr does well. England wide and wide again. Blake Boyland looking for a hole, runs into the left shoulder of Shea Clark. Bowen, tireless. Charlton Kerr's been trying to find a wee gap through that seam, a crack in the New Zealand defence, but it hasn't been forthcoming. Again spreading for Blake Boylan, age group player for England through many of the representative stages. Adamson has been good for them across this tournament so far, still going. Good continuity, patience for England. New Zealand's defence standing firm, looking to keep a clean sheet. Back they come the other way. It's energy sapping. A few hands on knees in the late stages of the defensive line, and then big hit goes in from Nyashu, wins the penalty back for New Zealand. I was going to say, don't think he's entirely comfortable, Tony Nyashu. Stays on the ground, so New Zealand will get out of here, and they will keep their title defence on track with a place in the quarterfinals of the Commonwealth Games once more. It is New Zealand 20, England 0.
New Zealand looking very comfortable in their defence, their attack taking care of itself, but it's how abrasive they are off the ball that makes them such a threat.